I've got one question for you. Are you ready to get your game on?
The longest-running off-road and action motorsports radio show on the planet is coming to you live with the biggest guest in motorsports. Here is the only man on the planet who can pack this much dirt slinging and tire slaying into 2 hours a week. Sit back, strap in, and be prepared to get your ears blown. Here is Jim Beaver and the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor.
Good morning and welcome to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. We got support by General Tires, KMC Wheels, like no other, MTX Audio, the official audio partner of the Down and Dirty Radio Show. We can't forget about Gibson Exhaust either. It's going to be a great show today. Stacked guest lineup. Kicking things off, it is our Formula Drift post-event interview with Ryan Sage. We're going to get to that in about 2 seconds, but before that, we want to give you the full rundown of guests. We got CJ Hutchins, my General Tire teammate. CJ's coming off a big win at the Silver State 300 with Best in the Desert. We're going to have him on air. We're going to have Jeff Seehorn, Rally America driver. You know Jeff Seehorn. He was the regional entry that dominated the national entries at Oregon Trail Rally a couple of weeks ago. And then my sidekick, Ami Houde. She's back. We're talking motocross. We're talking dirt. And you know when Ami calls in, you never know where the conversation's going to go. That's all coming up in this 2-hour show. But right now, I'm going to chime over to my good friend Ryan Sage calling in. We're going to talk some Atlanta Formula Drift. How's everything going, Ryan?
Hey, Jim. How are you?
Man, I'm doing good. I got to say, Atlanta, you and I were talking before we went on air, and, Atlanta, I've been there, and I've hosted some global rallycross events there. I've been there, numerous times. It is a motorsports city.
Yeah, I mean, Road Atlanta in particular just has a very interesting feeling to it when you step on premise. And from a historical standpoint, it's kind of stood the test of time in terms of how much of a quality venue that it is. Particularly with our event, it seems to bring out the crazy factor. I'm not sure if it's the fans or just the general area or the track, but we always see crazy things happen at Road Atlanta. It always is one of the best events, if not the best event, which some people will argue. But it's a great place and we love it.
Yeah. Well, and I know, Road Atlanta, like you said, anything can and will happen there. I mean, we've seen rain and guys having to drift in wet conditions. I think, was it a year or two ago when we saw literally, I think, was it Vaughn or I can't remember, but one of the cars literally drove over the top of another car. I mean, it's a pretty wild setup there.
Yeah, so that's a pretty infamous incident. That was Vaughn Gittin Jr. and Frederick Oswald kind of getting into a tussle where there had been a little bit of moisture on the track, and at nighttime, for some people, it depends on who you ask, the track tends to get a little bit more slippery. But Vaughn drove over the top of Frederick. It was a totally unexpected thing, a really crazy experience for everybody to watch on site. Both drivers actually, stayed in it, kept driving, and it's become one of the legendary runs of Formula Drift.
Yeah, it's you think back, nobody remembers who won the event. They just remember Vaughn launching his car over the top of Osbo, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and in the last year we had the infamous, pass heard around the world with Frederick Osbo once again, but this time against Chris Forsberg on the inside of turn 1, which is something you see maybe once every 5 years. I mean, I can't even remember the last time we actually had a really clean pass. And so that was another really interesting moment. So Road Atlanta brings the best out of everybody. It's always one of those events that you walk away just absolutely fatigued and tired from because you're screaming, you're up all night, it's early mornings. There's a lot of other things going on because it's an overall motorsports weekend. And it's just something that we really look forward to year after year.
Yeah. Well, and kind of going to the results, I got to say, Odie Bakshi's, and I got to say, Jared Deanda called me after a couple weeks ago. He says, I got to give you the rundown on how to pronounce these names. So hopefully I got his name right. But Odie Bakshi's, he got a second place at Long Beach, got a first place at Road Atlanta. I mean, is this his breakthrough season? I mean, we all knew this guy was good. Last year, he showed some flashes of brilliance, but he's on fire.
Yeah, I think so. I definitely think this is a breakthrough season for him. I mean, nobody expected him to do as well as he did in Long Beach. I think even if you ask him, he was going to consider that event a throwaway because he was using basically a car that was not going to be his primary car. It was a car that he was going to use for the World Championship and send overseas. But he came out strong and got a podium in round one, backed it up with a win in round two. He's consistent. He looks incredible. You know, if you look at the way that he has constructed and fabricated that car, he's one of the only guys on the field that's using which is surprisingly that you would say this, but a lower horsepower car, you know, a 600 plus horsepower car, as opposed to 1,000 horsepower. You know, he relies a lot on the suspension geometry setup. That's something that he prides himself on. And we've seen, you know, that has been able to catapult him to success so far. I mean, you watched the last run against Gushi. You know, he basically kind of ran away from Gushi, and Gushi was, you know, right on the back bumper of Forsberg. So it gives you an idea that of just how well set up that vehicle is, and I think he's going to be dangerous this year.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's funny you say that, you know, because, you know, lower horsepower car, and we're talking 600-700 horsepower, right? I mean, you look back to Formula Drift 10 years ago, 600-700 horsepower. I mean, you know, that was the upper, you know, the upper end of everything. And now, you know, it's just funny. You know, we talk about it and it's like he's bringing a knife to a gunfight when, you know, a few years ago, I mean, that was, you know, that was the biggest gun you could have.
Yeah, I think everybody that looks at his program is, you know, has to take pause in some sense. You know, he set up that vehicle. I mean, obviously it's a really good working chassis as it is. The older S chassis are pretty well balanced, and, you know, he's been able to make it super light, but he's really focused on, and, you know, where his area of expertise is on the, you know, suspension geometry and being able to get a lot of grip out of the vehicle, being able to get a lot of angle out of the vehicle. And, you know, he's a great left foot breaker. So he has the overall package, and I think it's been kind of coalescing in the past few years, and now it's really coming to fruition for him. And I think he's a legitimate contender this year, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and, you know, and looking down at the podium, you know, we gotta talk about Ken Gushi, because I believe this is his first podium in quite some time, right? I mean, that's got to be, you know, you think of Ken Gushi, and I mean, you think Formula Drift, and I mean, this guy is, you know, the name's synonymous with drifting, right? But you know, it's got to be pretty cool to see a guy like that, you know, and shows a competition level to come back and take a podium when it's been a while.
Absolutely. I mean, Ken's always been a star. That's never been the question. He's always been one of the most popular drivers. I mean, if you look at his social media numbers, he's up there with, you know, some of the top guys like Gittin and Forsberg. But, you know, Ken, you know, he's kind of struggled the past couple of years really trying to establish where his program was going to be. And it was really hard to know whether it was, you know, some of the other drivers passing him up, or if he just didn't have the right program. I always kind of thought it was just really that he needed to find a vehicle setup that was going to suit him in multiple conditions. Because I saw him drive in Asia many times in different vehicles, and he did really, really well, all things considered, relative to the other driver field. And, you know, so I learned a little bit about some of the things that they'd adjusted and changed to the car after Long Beach, and you could tell a huge difference. I mean, this guy was driving the pants off that thing. He was hitting all of the outer zone, which is something that you don't see a lot of from Ken, or you didn't see a lot of from Ken up until this point, you know, taking some of those high risk maneuvers. But I think, you know, he was highly motivated after Long Beach. I know he was disappointed with his results. He wants to see where he fits overall in this whole really competitive field at this point with the lower number of drivers. And I think last night he showed that Ken Gushi is still a factor. If the vehicle holds up and he drives like that, he's definitely going to be a force. I mean, when was the last time you saw somebody put it to Forsberg like that, going up the hill? You know, if you go back and watch the live stream replay, you'll see going up a hill off the power alley into that first and second outer zone, you usually see the same level of separation going up the hill. Most people kind of tighten up around the inside cliffs or areas where they can really put grip down. But Ken was actually gaining on Forsberg going up the hill, which I think says a lot. And so, yeah, I think he's definitely excited. I saw him in the airport at 5 o'clock in the morning the next day, and he seemed pretty pumped up. So I'm stoked for him.
Yeah, and that's what I love. You look at the top 5 point standings right now, and it shows you how how tight the competition is. I mean, you've got, the veterans. I mean, guys like, Turk and Gushi and Forsberg. I mean, you've got Odie, leading the points. You've got Osbo thrown in. I mean, it's a good mix of new talent, old talent, veterans. I think this year specifically, man, this is, shaping up to be a heck of a battle.
Yeah, I mean, what I've kind of taken away from the first two events so far is that, I don't like to say there's been a changing of the guard, like the older guys are going out and the new guys are coming in. I think that that's true in some respect, because, eventually people are going to get enough experience under their belt as a young driver that they're going to either make it or they're not. And we're seeing a lot of guys make it, but what we've been seeing with this field is that there are 38 very strong drivers that can take anybody out at any round. I mean, the top 32 battles are not gimmies anymore. They're very challenging. I mean, when you've got Frederick Oswald and Daigo Saito going up against each other in the top 32, that should kind of give you an idea of where the competition level is now. And with, the addition of Mad Mike Woodette and Tanner Foust and things like that, this field of drivers is the best we've ever seen, and it's making the entire competition very, very fun to watch. At the same time, it's got to be nail-biting for a lot of competitors because they know that the opportunity to get knocked out in top 32 is real, whether you're Chris Forsberg, or you're the 32nd ranked guy.
Yeah. Well, and talking about those two names, I know Mad Mike, obviously, he's kind of been the buzz this offseason. I mean, him and Tanner Foust, both coming back to Formula D. And it's been, Mad Mike, obviously, he's been in competition, in overseas, but not specifically here in the United States. But, his debut event this year, obviously qualified really well, qualified 8th, took a win. I mean, was he, the fans there, I mean, were they excited? Do they understand? Do they know who Mad Mike is? Or is it, more of an overseas thing? I mean, what was the reception for him?
No, I think that a lot of the Atlanta fans do. The Atlanta fans are very hardcore fans. Some of our events, especially Southern California, because of the numbers, you get a lot of people that are kind of, fans on the peripheral. They're fans of drifting. They may not know every single detail. They may not know every single driver. But I think Road Atlanta, a lot of these guys kind of follow they're very core. They're very hardcore. I mean, for fans that come out to an event at 8 o'clock in the morning and don't leave until 11 o'clock at night, it gives you an idea of just how hardcore they are. But with Mad Mike, yeah, he definitely won over a lot of people, I think, with his first performance of the year, and he was planning on being out of Long Beach, but transport issues and things like that made it so that it wasn't possible. But he really put on a show, and he really, I think, won over the hearts of a lot of fans that might have been watching online and also people that were at the event, because you could hear the applause that he was receiving for just some of the things that he was doing and how aggressive he was driving. So I think even though he maybe didn't get the result that he wanted, he definitely did what he needed to do in terms of making himself a factor at the event.
Yeah. Well, and the other name you mentioned, Tanner Foust, obviously, he had some struggles at Long Beach. I actually talked to Tanner a couple days after we ran into each other a couple days after the Long Beach event. And he's like, man, boy, has this sport changed, in just a few short years. But, looking at his qualifying run in that, obviously he got knocked out in the first round. But I think he's becoming a little more comfortable in the car as the season goes on. I think we're going to see him battling, for some, some top fours.
Yeah, I definitely think the program is there. It's not easy. This field of drivers is absolutely unbelievable this year. And Tanner looked like he was going to do very well at this event. Maybe not take a win, but he definitely looked strong, and the program looked like a top-notch program. I mean, that's kind of what you can expect from Papadakis Racing. But he made a mistake when he had a big advantage on his battle. He could have very easily won that round. So I don't put too much stock into it. I think, he's obviously only given himself limited opportunities running a 3-event schedule this year, so we won't see him back out until the finals. But, I don't think that there is a deficit in his driving ability. I just think, when you come back after 5 years, the level of competition is so crazy, it takes a little while to get your feet wet.
Yeah, for sure. Looking at the next event, obviously 2 rounds down. Next event, the first weekend in June, Orlando Speed World, a new venue for Formula Drift. I think it's going to be a great venue for you guys. What can fans look forward to at Speed World? I mean, as far as course layout, I mean, what are we looking at here, buddy?
Yeah, so Orlando Speed World is going to be a lot like some of our other traditional kind of eighth-mile oval, quarter-mile oval facilities. So it's Irwindale, Seattle, Wall, type of vibe, but in Florida. The track layout is going to be somewhat similar to those. It's going to have a number of turns on banks. It's going to have some transitions. It's going to have some crossovers possibly. So it'll be a really fun experience for people that are watching live. All of our events are, where every fan can see every part of the track for the most part. So that's kind of what we're going for here. And I think, because it's a new venue, it obviously presents a number of challenges for the drivers. There's no real data to take from the track. It favors probably the teams that are better suited for that. Last year in Miami, we saw Getting do really well there. This team is always up and up on data acquisition and being able to come together with a program on a new facility pretty quickly. So I think it'll really come down to who is the most prepared once they get through practice on Thursday and is unable to set up their car appropriately for Friday.
Yeah. Well, and you talked about, the online stream. I know you guys said something, I think 240,000 people tuned in over the course of the weekend, which to me is just a phenomenal number. I mean, those are, really, really solid numbers. What's your guys' record for single event online, on the live stream?
Last round in Long Beach was the new record. I think we were at 368, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's, I look at that number and, and I've looked at TV ratings, for the past 4 or 5 years. And, that rivals a lot of motorsports on TV, man. And for a live stream, to me, that's just phenomenal.
Yeah. It's something, it's where our audience lives. It's where we put a lot of resources and where we want to continue to put a lot of resources. We have a great relationship that we started this year with CBS Sports, and that helps us kind of fulfill our television side of things where we can put together a very slick programming and do a lot of behind the scenes stuff that you're not able to do on the live stream. But the live stream purpose is really to give fans an unencumbered view of the competition. So if you are a hardcore fan and you want to, throw on the broadcast for the whole 8 hours and sit there with your buddies and have a good time, it's there for you to do that. If you just want to tune in and watch, the top 16, it's there for you to do that. And so, yeah, we're really excited about the live stream, and, it's one of those kind of things that, we want to continue to help develop and grow, and we've obviously seen some good success with the numbers. So,
yeah. Well, and CBS Sports, I don't want to shortchange that either, because I think, in years past, your TV deal, a lot of it was, pretty delayed. It seems like you guys have definitely ramped things up, and those shows are popping out quicker now this year. You know what I mean? Sooner after the events, I guess.
Yeah, that's always been a kind of a criticism, and it's the challenge is for us is really the turnaround time on production. But we wanted to task ourselves with being able to put out the shows before the next round, and also put out shows that we're going to be able to give people a different look of what happened on site. So we have the kind of live to tape programming that's a little bit more of a slick competition show, and then we also have a supplemental program called Formula Drift Insider, which is footage you won't be able to see anywhere except for on that show, and it's mostly behind the scenes stuff. It's guys working on their cars in the pits. It's the reactions to results. It's looking at what's going on in the drivers setup. It's looking at what's going on in the drivers' homes, and so it's more of a reality-based program, which I really, really like because it gives you an idea of the personalities of the drivers, and it doesn't really leave anything on the table. There's a lot of really cool things that you learn about behind the scenes of the sport, and also, just seeing how these drivers react in the fiery moments of competition.
Yeah. Well, and I got to ask, because I saw something on the website. I wasn't familiar with it, but, I was kind of browsing through things over the weekend. And Thursday Night Drift out at Irwindale, I know you guys have, you kind of got the ladder system going, obviously, with Pro 2, and then you've got, the World Championship. You've got, traditional Formula Drift here in the States. But Thursday Night Drift, I think that's got to be huge for building building future drivers, letting them go out and get a taste of drifting at the House of Drift. How did Thursday Night Drift come about? I think you guys have done one now. What's the reception been?
We've actually done quite a few now. We actually started Thursday Night Drift last year, towards the latter part of the racing season for Wendell. And then we expanded on it this year. We started early, and we try to do one a month. But basically the whole idea behind Thursday Night Drift is really just to give people, drivers in particular, an opportunity to, come out to a world-class venue like Irwindale and be able to get track time in a safe environment. And it's something that, that kind of goes along with where we want to take the business of drifting. When we started the sport, it basically started from the top down, so it really didn't have any foundation. And so the past few years, we've really been trying to focus on developing our Pro-Am relationships and helping strengthen those guys and trying to help them in every way that we can to be sustainable and have proper resources. And then also with the Pro 2. And so this is just another example of that. And it's also really fun and chill. And, you see a lot of pro drivers come out. So, yeah, we love Thursday Night Drift.
Yeah, well, it's got to be a good chance for some of the pro drivers in the area to get some, track time easy without having to rent a facility, and then, and you get the local guys that, that are just getting started, get a chance to mix it up and, meet some of their idols. I think it's definitely a win-win for everybody.
It is. It's really fun. I mean, we do multiple track setups depending on the level of your car build, whether you have the proper kind of safety equipment, roll cage, things like that. But if you're coming out, you just have a car with a helmet, we'll give you a certain setup. If you got a roll cage, we'll give you a certain setup. So there's multiple different things that people can do. It's a really, really safe environment. It's fun. It's a good time. And yeah, you get to, see some of your favorite drivers as well.
Yeah. For sure. So Orlando Speed World, that's up next. I know you kind of gave us a rundown. I mean, what happens at Formula Drift offices in between an event? Obviously, we got a couple of weeks now. You guys are starting to prep for Orlando. When do you guys actually boots on ground and get to setting things up there in Orlando?
We're usually, when we do a new event, we'll always go out and do a site inspection and walk through and kind of lay everything out, make sure that it has all the attributes that we need for the various things that it takes to put on an event. But after, between events, we're basically back in the office, kind of, doing the daily grind, which is, for the operations guys, it's, putting all the pieces together for the event behind the scenes and laying out the floor plan and making sure the vendors are all situated. For the marketing guys, like in my department, it's, making sure that we're selling tickets and doing ad buys and strategic partnerships, producing the TV show. There's a lot of different things going on. So yeah, basically when we get back to the office, it's just a lot of office work and trying to prepare for the next round and the coming round. So between round 3 and round 4 is a really tight schedule. So we're kind of working on 2 events at the same time right now. And then we've also got the first World Championship event in July in Japan. So it's a pretty hectic schedule, but we enjoy it. And, you get to say you do drifting for work, so it's fun.
Yeah, right. And, a lot of people would love to be able to say that. So, well, I appreciate you taking the time. I know you guys just getting back from Atlanta into the office, and it's been, I've had some fun these past 2 rounds. Kind of recapping the event and talking with you, and looking forward to the rest of this year.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us on. We really appreciate the opportunity and helping expose the sport to your audience.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, Ryan. Take care, and we'll talk soon, my friend.
All right. Have a good show. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thanks, buddy. All right, that was Ryan Sage with Formula Drift, one of the founders of Formula Drift, and we'll be recapping Formula Drift each and every round this year with Ryan Sage. We're going to filter some drivers in there. Probably won't always be him calling in, but should be a fun deal. We're calling it the Formula Drift post-event interview, but giving you a rundown real quick from Road Atlanta. Odi Bakshi's, and I know I'm getting the name right now, my buddy Jared Deanda, giving me the lowdown. But Odi taking home the win, and talk about a solid start to the year for him. A first and a second so far, second at Long Beach, first there at Atlanta. Great start for him, and you want to talk about his breakthrough season. Had a good year last year, but looks like this year it's definitely a game on for him. Ken Gushi De Guiche, second. Great to see him back on the podium. Had some struggles as of late, but been a few years since we've seen him there. But he's a top 5 in points at this point, and he's a solid run. And then your champ, Chris Forsberg. What more can you say? Another podium for him. He's just an animal. We had Forrest, your other driver in the top 4. Some notables. Obviously, we gave you the rundown earlier, but Mad Mike, he did take a victory. Von Gittin took a victory. Got knocked out pretty early, though, by Kenny Moen. Looking out, Osbo, he had an early exit in the 16 round. Tanner Foust knocked out in the top 32. Forsberg, obviously, he made it to the top 4. Turk in the 16 round, battle of 16, getting knocked out by Forsberg. The teammates there, the Drift Alliance buddies, you gotta hate it when they go head to head, but it's that's the way drifting works, right? And then obviously Ken Gushi making it all the way to the final battle and taking home that second. So great event there at Road Atlanta, Orlando Speed World. You gotta be looking forward to that. Any event run at in the shadows of Disney World, you gotta be looking forward to that coming up. The first weekend in June, 5th and 6th, I believe. I'll get you those dates here in just a second. And, Orlando Speed World, June 5th, 6th. And you can always catch their TV, CBS Sports Network. I know they've got TV times listed at formuladcom. You can get all those details there or on their social media. And, like I said, always tune into that live stream. They do a solid effort. Sage, Deanda, and everybody at Formula Drift putting on a tremendous live stream. So big thanks to Ryan Sage for calling in, and that was our Formula Drift post-event interview for Atlanta. You gotta love it. So we kind of gave a quick run through of the show, but to hear, we're going to take a short commercial break. When we come back, we've got Rally America competitor, super production driver Jeff Seehorn, an interview I did with Jeff. We're going to be airing that when we come back from the break. I recorded into last week. And then later on in the show, CJ Hutchins, my General Tire teammate, he's going to be calling in to kick off hour number 2. We're going to be talking Best in the Desert Silver State 300. And then Ami Houde, the leading lady of the Down and Dirty Radio Show, my sidekick. We're going to wrap things up at the end of the show with her. Sprinkled in, we'll talk some Rally America preview and who knows where else this conversation can go. But if you got any questions for me, definitely give me a shout at JimBeaver15 on Twitter. Would love to get your questions answered on the show. So hit me up at JimBeaver15 and we'll get those questions in. And if you've got one for Ami Houde, CJ Hutchins, let me have them. This is the Down and Dirty Radio Show powered by Polaris Razor. I'm Jim Beaver, and we'll be back in just a minute.
I'm Polaris rider Levi LaValle, and I choose Polaris just because they have the best quality, highest performing, most fun machines out there.
Only one company has taken Levi LaValle to 10 X Games medals, snowcross championships, a double backflip, and a world record long jump of 412 feet across the San Diego Harbor on New Year's Eve, and that company is Polaris. Whether it's dominating the X Games, racing a stock Polaris Razor XP1000 in the Terracross Championship, or just hitting the trail on the weekend, for over 20 years, Levi has relied on the same quality Polaris vehicles and products you can purchase at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of action sports legend Levi LaValle and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Baja, check. King of the Hammers, check. Crandon, check. The Mint 400, check. Only one wheel company can say they have dominated the deserts and rocks of the Southwest to the mud and carnage of the big house at Crandon, and that company is KMC Wheels. KMC Wheels has won them all with the help of elite drivers like Travis Pastrana, Ricky Johnson, Bryce Menzies, Carl Renazetter, and Lauren Healy, who all rely on the XT Series from KMC Wheels to get them to the finish line and on top of the podium. Check out KMC Wheels and their full line of XT Series wheels at kmcwheels.com or on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KMC Wheels. KMC Wheels, like no other. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle, Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance, rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZ, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally.
Rigid Industries is the original and #1 LED light bar manufacturer in the world. Torture tested by some of the best drivers in motorsports. Rigid LED lighting products use cutting-edge technology and can stand up to the harshest conditions Mother Nature can dish out. Designed, engineered, and assembled in the United States, Rigid LED lighting is the only choice for your off-road vehicle or boat. Find out more information on the entire line of Rigid Industries LED lighting products at www.rigidindustries.com.
Come to the island and rip it up this summer. Wakeboard Island. It's a skate park on water at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Check out the 2-tower cable system that pulls you and your board over the water. No boats to watch out for, no fumes. Wakeboard Island is open to all skill levels with an open center section for beginners. And for trick riders, a double side kicker and a 60-foot flat box. Wakeboard Island, the best ride this side of the Rockies. Adjacent to the River's Edge Cantina at Blue Water Resort and Casino on the Colorado River in Parker, Arizona.
Life is all about sound. The sound of sports. The sound at the racetrack. And the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'm your host, Jim Beaver. Just got done with Ryan Sage from Formula Drift doing our Formula Drift post-event interview that's going to be happening each and every Monday following a Formula Drift round here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show. And speaking of Mondays, I want to make mention next Monday we won't be on air. It will be a Tuesday edition of the Down and Dirty Radio Show. My agreement with Rally America to do Rally America Radio at each and every round. When it's a Saturday, Sunday event in Rally America, means I got to fly home on a Monday. That means the Down and Dirty Radio Show airs on a Tuesday. So if you're listening to this syndicated, on FM networks, iHeartRadio, wherever you're picking it up at, doesn't matter. You're still going to get it on your Tuesday or whatever other day we air. If you're listening live, Tuesday next week, we will be airing Same time, same place, just a different day, and that's just happens when we have Rally America rounds that that carry throughout the weekend instead of ending on a Saturday. So we are still going to be here, but just a day later than normal. So you're going to have to wait 24 extra hours to get your dose of the Down and Dirty Radio Show next week. But I promise you, we will have a show, and with some of the guests we've got lining up for the next couple of weeks, I got to tell you, man, what more can you ask for? I mean, geez, past 2 weeks we've had we've had Sheeny with a triple backflip, Jolene Van Vliet, Jason Ellis, Chip Ganassi, Matt Crafton. I mean, man, we've been knocking out some bangers, and today another great show. And I got to tell you, the next couple of weeks are going to be insane here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show. But I want to hear from you at Jim Beaver 15. If you got anybody you'd want to hear on air, any guests you think we should have, but. Man, it's been a whirlwind couple of weeks here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, and I got to say it's been a whirlwind week for me. Those of you that follow me on social media know, this is the Down and Dirty Radio Show powered by Polaris Razor. I took delivery of a brand new XP4 1000 last week. We're going to be doing a build on it. Got my friends from Pro Armor, Gibson Exhaust, UTV Wolfpack. We've got General Tire, KMC Wheels. GBZ is involved, it's just, it's going to be insane. We're going to do a build on this thing, and I've been cruising around, let my 6-year-old daughter wheel the thing, and we've had a blast with this thing, but we're going to do a build on that. But I got to tell you, Polaris Razor, I don't know how much more fun you can have. I've driven them, and getting this 4-seater, it just, immediately puts a smile on your face jumping in the seat and being able to wheel that thing. If you've got, some extra money or can afford a $200 a month payment, I don't think that you could spend it any better way than on a Polaris Razor, that's for sure. So be prepared for a ton of Razor talk, the next couple of weeks as we get this build done and ready for a debut at the Terracross Round 1 in San Diego the end of June. But I've had a ton of fun with that Polaris, and big thanks to Razor for sending it out for me to wheel. But right now, like I said before, Jeff Seehorn, Rally America driver. You guys know him from Oregon Trail Rally, the regional entry that would have took a national podium with his times. Talk about a wheel, man, coming out of nowhere, and just a dominating effort. We're going to see him step up to national at Olympus this weekend. But here's an interview I did last week with Jeff Seehorn. I think you're going to enjoy it, man. He had a heck of an effort at Oregon Trail Rally. Here's Jeff Seehorn. All right, we are catching up with Jeff Seehorn, Rally America super production driver. How's everything going, Jeff?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Doing well, man. First off, let's talk a little bit about you. Obviously, everybody familiar knows the story from Oregon Trail Rally, which we'll get into in a minute. But I want to kind of go back, to you and your start in rally racing, because you really haven't been involved in rally for super long time.
No, this is my second year, and actually OTR was our 5th event total, and it was my fourth gravel event. So we had 3. Well, we did OTR last year, and then Olympus, which was just a regional last year, and then we did Mount Hood, which was just kind of a short sprint race, and then Big White, which was a winter rally. That year went really well. Regionally we placed on the podium at every event. Overall, I think just at OTR we were off the podium once for the first rally, the Wagons Ho rally there. I think there were 6 or something. But last year went really well, and this year's starting off even better. So
yeah. Well, how did you get involved in rally? I mean, obviously, this is your second year rally, not a lot under your belt, but I mean, did you have any driving experience before this year? I mean, or before last year? I mean, is it something you just kind of got thrown into?
Car racing wise, I didn't have a whole lot of background. In 2008, I bought a Subaru STI, and then I started rally winter rallycross racing it, just snow rallycross, and then autocrossing it. I spent a bunch of money on that car and put a bunch of money into turbos and different setups for autocross, and we had it up to about, it was like 400 all-wheel horsepower, and then I was running full slicks and stuff, so the car would actually, light the tires up on slicks during autocross. I mean, I had some experience sliding sideways with that, but most of it goes back to my background in motorcycle racing. Starting trail riding when I was 4, and then we started into hare scramble races when I was 7. So I got about 26 years. I'll be 33 this year, so about 26 years in motorcycle racing behind me. That's kind of what gave me a good recipe for going into rally. So yeah, just everything crosses over really well. I got a bunch of different disciplines in motorcycle racing, the hare scrambles, desert racing. Started road racing when I was 20, so I did that for about 12 years. So everything kind of helps cross over to rally. You got trail riding has your line identification and reading the terrain. Then the road racing, you got your high speed braking and your depth perception on when you're going to start braking into a corner, and also your apex identification. So, and then also flat track racing. My cousin's actually Joe Kopp, if you've heard of him. He was a EMA Grand National flat track champion 1 year, and then he's raced professionally for his whole career. So he actually owns leases Spokane Speedway up here. So the last couple of years I've been going up there every Wednesday night and racing that series and getting reacquainted with flat track racing. But nice. Everything crosses over pretty well to rally, and it makes up for it was a pretty easy transition. The only real struggle was learning pace notes, because besides playing dirt on PlayStation, I hadn't really had any experience with pace notes. So OTR last year was my first real experience with pace notes. I didn't have any formal rally school behind me, just a couple really good coaches. Michael Milos, going into OTR, kind of took a chance with me, and he knew my background, he knew my resume, and he kind of coached us through our first event and got us up to speed. And then our second event at Olympus, Jason Grawn, who was a really good co-driver too, kind of coached us some more. And then both those co-drivers did a really awesome job on essentially giving me my formal rally school coaching. So yeah, because rally schools are fairly expensive, and doing the events is about the same cost as doing one of those rally schools. So getting those events behind me, and then the events and the help I've had along the way is pretty much my background in rally. So.
Well, heading into this year, obviously you did a couple events last year. You kind of what were the plans coming into this year, and then we'll kind of get to talk about Oregon Trail and the upcoming Olympus Rally.
Yeah, just coming into OTR this year, it was a pretty familiar event for me, because there were a lot of the same stages that we did last year, except for the first one that was just ran backwards. So I have a pretty good visual memory from my motorcycle background, so I think we had an advantage going into OTR, and I had set goals to be within 10 to 20 seconds of the top super production teams, and it was kind of blown away by the speed that we acquired this year. And we just kind of, I don't know, I got a good handle on the car, and just from doing all my practice stuff with videos and stuff this winter, just visualizing how the weekend would play through, because I just went into it and pushed hard on the first stages, and then we started setting good times, and then we just we kept advancing. I think the last 4 stages we really put our heads down on Saturday, and started beating Roberts and Lachlan by 7 to 10 seconds on some of the stages. So it was a really good weekend. I think it was a little bit more my style, going at the fast stages on Saturday. That's kind of what I grew up doing, was fast desert, and then also that goes pretty similar with the road racing background, because there's a lot of high-speed braking and stuff, and I was really pushing the limits going into some of the chicanes, braking late, and using some of my road racing background to gain a lot of time on the chicanes, I think. Going into Olympus, it's going to be a struggle, I think, because a lot of the stages are new. They're going to be tight technical like they were at Hood River, where I didn't quite exceed Roberts and some of those guys there, because I think that's where they kind of surpassed me, is on some of the tight technical stuff. Especially, I got caught off guard at in Hood River being fourth on the road, which I think the farthest up I'd been, well, besides Mount Hood, I think we were seated second, but being seated fourth on Sunday was quite a disadvantage, kind of caught me off guard. We had our first spin on Husky South there, because I hadn't been that far up on the start order before, so I hadn't been used to the loose roads yet. But we're seated ninth for Olympus, which I think is a pretty good location to start. We're back behind Lachlan and Roberts, and then also behind Garth, and then Loggeman, I think is how you pronounce it. So we should have fairly decent swept roads, and we'll have to see how it goes on Sunday where we get placed. But yeah, I just have to play it cool and really focus on my notes during recce. Luckily, we do have Jamba producing the notes, and then we can just focus on. I'm not very good at calling out the degrees during recce if we have to write our own notes like we did. We did have to write our own notes last year at Olympus on a few stages that Jason had ran a few of the stages at Nationals in previous years, so he had some notes from other drivers in different events. But so yeah, it's going to be an advantage to having complete Jamba notes, and then we can just get rid of all the busy stuff and focus on notes that are going to make me stay on line and go fast, and keep it simple and all the technical stuff, so Michael can spit out all the notes on cue. So that's kind of our goal for Olympus. We're going to try and have a repeat from OTR, but it's going to be a challenge because OTR was familiar for us, and it kind of suited my driving style on Saturday. And then, I'm still new. And then other people had issues at OTR as well, so it was kind of a lucky event for us, and the fact that several people had big issues. I mean, Roberts dropped out from a mechanical. I think, Roberts would have been ahead of us because he was setting fast times on Sunday. And then, because we were only 10 seconds ahead of him going into Sunday, and then he had gained 20, 30 seconds on us before he had his mechanical. And then I think Lachlan and I will be really close, and then we'll just have to keep plugging away and trying to battle with those guys. That's kind of where I wanted to be this year, was just battling with the top contenders, and that's what I think's fun about racing, is being competitive, and that's why I got locked into road racing, and it was so addicting because you come back from each practice sessions, and then you come back from your sprint races, and you're looking at everybody's times, and you're saying, oh man, he went 2 seconds quicker a lap, or he's setting this time, I got to beat that. And the rally's kind of the same way. You come back, and Rally America has their time sheets up within a few minutes, and you come back and you're looking at times, and just, it's not like a hare scrambles race where you go out and you're in third place, but you don't know that guy ahead of you just gapped you by 3 seconds, and you don't know how far ahead of you he is until you see his dust. So sometimes you get back so far in a hare scrambles race, and you kind of just set in and go into survival mode. But rally and road racing, it's different. You come back and you know where your competition's at because you got their times right in front of you. So that's what's addicting about it, and that's what I love about it. So
Yeah, well, and I think, Oregon Trail, obviously, was kind of your breakthrough event. I know at one point, I think a lot of people were going, I think it may have been Friday night, and, they're going, these times got to be wrong. There's got to be something the matter with their timing equipment, because a lot of people, they weren't familiar with you. And then, going into Saturday, you kept putting down these times, and they're like, man, this guy just literally is this fast. And then, the way things shook up, here's a regional guy running up there, I think you may have taken a podium, a national podium, and I think a lot of people were like, oh, wow, I mean, this guy's here to stay. So going into Olympus, you're going to be running national, correct?
Yes, yeah. We got the national entry taken care of by a few sponsors, and actually pulled a couple other sponsors after OTR. Maxis is now with us. They're helping us out. And Exedi as well. So we actually, I can't remember. Is there one other? I'm forgetting. Sorry. It's been kind of crazy after OTR. Just all the different recognition that I've been getting, and I think this is where I've wanted to be since I was thinking it was going to probably take another year to get up to this speed, but. Like I said, OTR suited me really well, and we're going to have to prove ourselves at Olympia or Olympus, to prove that just wasn't that the stages suited me, or that I can't. What am I trying to say?
You're just trying to prove it wasn't a fluke. I mean,
Friday night, I that time was really weird because we went 10 seconds quicker, and at the time we were having boost issues, and then the boost control solenoid was failing on us. We finally figured that out earlier on Saturday. I think the first two stages we still had the issues, but and then I had switched tires, so I mean it could have been a fluke time, but there wasn't anything to prove it wrong, and it made sense because we switched to tarmacs, and that back section was a lot slower with the tarmacs on. And then the first run through, I didn't have the boost issues because it didn't default to wastegate pressure like it did on the second run through. But it was to me it made sense because I knew I went slower on the second run. But it is a pretty short stage to lose 10 seconds on. But who knows?
Yeah. Well, looking forward. What's that?
But we did back it up on Saturday and Sunday. So I mean, who knows?
Yeah. Looking forward at the rest of 2015, I mean, what are the plans? Obviously, you're running national now at Olympus. Are the plans? I know I've heard, you were kind of concentrating on the Cascadia Cup type of thing. I've heard, what are the plans?
Yeah, my focus for this year was to do all the Cascadia Cup events and try and win each, or at least podium at each regional, and then win the Cascadia Cup, and then try and progress into a full national season next year. Obviously I didn't expect to be running as well to, if we ran national at OTR, we would have been on the national overall podium and won super production. With my car, it's a 2005 Subaru, so the Subaru contingency for 2008 and newer models is really good. It's $4,000 for a win, and my car's only $1,000. So the offsetting costs to run national in my car don't quite add up to make sense unless I was doing it for sponsorship, for my sponsorship. So it's, even if I win super production, it still costs me another $300 to run national. So maybe next year, if I don't know if Subaru can up their contingency to make more sense. It wouldn't be too big of a deal, but we're a pretty grassroots team, and I spend pretty much all of my disposable income to do the weekends as I do them, and I do them pretty cheaply. We stayed at friend's house at OTR and do everything on a minimal budget. My car's pretty basic compared to the other top contenders, super production cars. So we're running on basic Bilstein coilover system from all wheels driven, which they're very capable. I mean, they don't have hydraulic bump stops and all the fancy adjustable stuff with their valve for the car, and they do really well. And I mean, we proved that they can sit on a national podium, so I think that was pretty great. I think the base level cost of my car is probably about the cost of some of Nick Roberts' suspension components. So just my whole car in itself is his suspension. So I think that's pretty cool that we were up there battling with him. But for this year, we're going to focus on the regionals. We're going to do Idaho's our next round. Karen Jankowski is going to be in the co-driver's seat for that, so I'm excited to have her there. She's got a bunch of national level experience with David Sterrick, so that'll be neat to see what she can coach me on and see where we can go there. And then I don't know if we'll be able to tow back to some of the Midwest nationals, but we'll see what other sponsors can help us out with on that, and then see if we can get some more backing behind me to cover some of the cost to go back there, because I mean there's no way I can afford to do some of those bigger ones on my own dollar. But my fiance is already kind of cutting me short. She's an accountant, and she helps me out quite a bit with my budgeting and keeping me on track. So I couldn't really even do these rounds without her, telling me what to spend my money on. And she's super nice and supporting. And I mean, I met her at a racetrack, so I think I made the right choice there. So
yeah, for sure. All right. Well, I appreciate you taking the time for an interview, man. I know, obviously, getting the car ready to go for Olympus, just a few days out, and good luck. And we'll definitely see you out there with Rally America Radio.
Cool. Sounds good, Jim.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Jeff. I appreciate the interview. All right, that was Jeff Seehorn. A lot of you know him from Oregon Trail Rally, kind of his breakthrough onto the national scene. But I definitely think we're going to hear a lot more from him. We're running a little late, but this is the Down and Dirty Radio Show powered by Polaris RZR. I'm your host, Jim Beaver, and we're going to take a short break. CJ Hutchins coming up after the break, so stay tuned. Thanks for listening to the Down and Dirty Radio Show powered by Polaris RZR. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Baja, check. King of the Hammers, check. Crandon, check. The Mint 400, check. Only one wheel company can say they have dominated the deserts and rocks of the Southwest to the mud and carnage of the big house at Crandon, and that company is KMC Wheels. KMC Wheels has won them all with the help of elite drivers like Travis Pastrana, Ricky Johnson, Bryce Menzies, Carl Renazetter, and Lauren Healy, who all rely on the XT Series from KMC Wheels to get them to the finish line and on top of the podium. Check out KMC Wheels and their full line of XT Series wheels at kmcwheels.com or on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KMC Wheels. KMC Wheels, like no other. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle, Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZs, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'm your host, Jim Beaver, and just got done with a banging show so far. Jeff Seehorn, Rally America driver. We've had Ryan Sage from Formula Drift. And right now, we're going to skip over to my General Tire teammate, CJ Hutchins, coming off a big win at the Silver State 300. How's everything going, CJ?
Oh, good, really good. You know, it always feels good to get back to work after you had a nice win like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, man, it looked like a solid run. I think you guys third overall, right?
Yeah, we had just a flawless day, and that's really what it takes these days to win a race. Is you have to be perfect. Your pits have to be perfect. You can't have any errors. So we were running real close for the overall towards the end of the race there, and got hung up behind some slower trucks. And unfortunately, the overall slipped away, but we still won our class, so we couldn't be happier.
Yeah. Well, and refresh me and correct me if I'm wrong. I know you took Vegas to Reno, the win at Vegas to Reno, not last year, I think the year before. But was that your last win, or was there one mixed in last year at some point?
No, that was my last win. Unfortunately, we didn't get the car ready for Vegas to Reno last year, so we're definitely looking forward to some redemption for this year.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you got to be excited. I mean, coming off the win at Silver State, kind of got a little momentum in your favor going into Vegas to Reno. I mean, I know you've won there before, so you know what it takes to win that event. Got to be pretty exciting for the team right now.
Yeah, absolutely. My pit crew is 100% volunteers, and they were working real hard before the race. We did a lot of tire change practices and just ran through practice pits over and over with fueling and tires, and we ended up doing like a 35-second pit stop with 2 tires and fuel and everything, and just never got past in the pits. And that's really what it takes on these fast road races like Silver State and Vegas to Reno.
Yeah, well, and let's talk a little bit, because I know a lot of people 1500. It's always 1500 versus trophy truck, or class 1 versus trophy truck, and what's better, and the trucks are faster, the buggies are faster in this. I mean, you're a guy who you're running up front in a class 1500 car. I mean, obviously to me, I look at Silver State and go, that's probably catered more towards the trucks, but here you are with a third overall. I mean, where are you making up your time in the open wheel car?
It's really all your corner speed. Silver State, there are literally thousands and thousands of corners on that track, and it's all just carrying your momentum and staying smooth out there. I really didn't push real hard the first half of the race. It always seems to be the same thing at that race, where a lot of guys make mistakes and they drive off the roads and then they're done. So it's really just being smooth, keeping the car on the road at Silver State, and then we got halfway through the race and we were real close for the overall, so we started pushing, and then, like I said, got stuck in the dust behind some slow trucks. But I think Silver State and Vegas to Reno, a buggy can still overall those races. They're smooth enough where we can run with the trucks on the roads and in the sand washes. So hopefully we'll push real hard again at Vegas to Reno and try for another overall.
Yeah. Well, talking about the race program, I know, you were saying that, you guys have a little bit smaller program, and, it's a lot of volunteers and obviously, you guys don't have, 5 guys on salary, prepping the car and things like that. And that's one thing I've always appreciated about your team. I mean, you guys are there, you're running up front, you're taking race wins, but you're still doing it. You guys are independents. I mean, you have some great sponsorship from General Tire and some support, but by and large, I mean, it's a smaller effort and you're still running up front.
Yeah, definitely. We can't thank General Tire enough for the support they give us. Beyond them, we're pretty much self-funded. Our companies pretty much pay for all of our racing. So the little sponsorship we do get from some of our other sponsors is mostly just product, which is still awesome. Every little bit helps out. But we pay for most of it out of our own pocket.
Yeah. Well, and let's talk about, kind of the state of Class 1 or our Class 1500 right now. And I know, obviously you're there, you're a front-running team. I mean, we've seen a lot of guys in recent memory kind of moved to Trophy Truck, but seems like those guys have moved and other guys have moved into Class 1. I mean, I look at, look at the races and I mean, between you and Harley Lettner and I mean, Sam Barry, I mean, there's some fast guys and I mean, it's still super, super competitive.
Oh, most definitely. Our margin for win at Silver State was only 38 seconds. So after 300 miles of countless corners and so many different variables, we ended up only winning by 38 seconds. So the class is definitely ultra competitive. A lot of fast guys. At Silver State, I think I qualified as the 7th buggy. So, I mean, it just goes to show the guys that were at Silver State were all top-notch, really fast cars there. There weren't any pot fillers there. So we're just happy to win with that group of guys that were up there.
Yeah, for sure. It's, to me, that's crazy. I mean, and qualifying, it's so kind of crazy in Best in the Desert. I mean, you got guys, I mean, I consistently don't qualify well, but it seems like, the first 100 miles of the race, I passed 25 vehicles and kind of like you were saying, obviously you qualified 7th and then you mix in the trucks. I mean, do you think that affected you, your qualifying position, having to fight through that traffic and stuff and getting hung up in the dust? I mean, you think if you would have been, maybe top 5 or something like that, you would have had a chance at the overall and walking away with the, that victory?
It's hard to say. I really feel like if you can get in the top 20 or 25 on these road races, you have a good shot. And it's so much luck involved on these fast road races like this. It's so difficult to pass anyone. You can't pass anybody going 100 miles an hour in the dust down these roads. So it's really just about getting into good gaps. And luckily at Silver State, I got by a couple of trucks that started in front of us, and then I just had a really good gap with clean air for a long ways, and I was able to put a lot of time on the other buggies that started in front of me that were being held up by the trucks. So there's a lot of luck that's involved in our sport, and I'm just happy it went our way for once.
Yeah, for sure, right? Well, I'm sure, yeah. There's so much luck involved, and like you said, I mean, especially these road races. I mean, like Vegas, or you'd think a 550-mile race. There's plenty of passing opportunities, but you and I both know. I mean, there's times where you get behind a guy and you may follow him for 50 miles just because there is no place to get around at.
Yeah, absolutely, and Silver State is definitely the same as far as that goes. A lot of high-speed roads and just really difficult to pass. And in that eastern Nevada, it's pretty silty terrain just in general, going through those valleys, and the dust is so thick up there. It's really just got to just be patient, and that's what it took at Silver State. I just stayed really patient the first half and kind of just let the race come to us.
Yeah. Well, talking about, the overall picture this year, obviously you're competing for Best in the Desert Championship, in Class 1500. Any other plans? I mean, are we going to see you possibly run Baja? Anything else, in the works for you?
No, we're pretty much just going to focus on Best in the Desert this year. I mean, I love racing Mexico. There's nothing like racing down there, but it's just not in the budget for this year. So we're staying stateside and focus on Best in the Desert and go for this championship.
Yeah. Well, and looking long term, I mean, you pretty happy in 1500, or you think there's any chance we see you in a truck at some point? I mean, there's guys on both sides. It seems like in class 1500, there's guys. You talk with Harley Lettner, and he's like, "Nah, I'm happy in 1500. That's where I want to be. This is where the real drivers are at." And then you talk to the other guys, and they're, "Oh, well, I'd like to go to trophy truck." I mean, you pretty happy where you're at?
I am. I think everybody's ultimate goal is to make it to that top level, which is trophy truck, but to really compete against those guys, you're talking racing against guys with $1 million plus budgets every year. It's really hard to compete with that for a team like ours. And I do kind of have to agree with Harley on that. The trucks drive themselves, I think, through the rough. Not on the corners and the roads. Don't get me wrong; those guys are still wheeling those trucks around. But I definitely think it's a little more difficult to drive a buggy fast than the trucks.
Yeah. Well, I tend to agree with you. I mean, and this is coming from a trophy truck guy, right? But
trucks are just so forgiving. They're so good. These guys are driving into huge holes, and the trucks just go right through them. Whereas if we do that, we're going on our lid.
Yeah, well, and that's what I've said. I compare a Class 1 car to almost like a rally car. I'm like, rally cars are ridiculously fast, and so are Class 1 cars. But I'm like, it was trophy truck. I'm like, you can be a sloppy and a bad driver and still be really, really fast because the trucks are so forgiving. In a rally car, if you get off the road or make a mistake, I mean, you're done. And in a Class 1 car, I mean, there's more precision because you can be just as fast as a trophy truck, but you can't quite make the mistakes you do in a trophy truck.
Right, exactly.
So
I would agree with that 100%.
Yeah. Well, and you guys still have to shift. You got sequential gearboxes. I mean, we just flip a little lever and we're shifting gears, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, long term though. I mean, obviously, you're super fast in the desert. You ever had the opportunity, or you thought about maybe doing a little short course racing?
We talked about it years ago when Lucas started taking over out here on the West Coast, and we're just so busy with everything else going on. Their schedule is crazy, and we just couldn't make it happen. I think it would be really fun. It looks really fun. I know it's really challenging and ultra competitive, but it's just not right now, I should say.
Yeah. Well, and talk to me about, being a driver and Best in the Desert. It's such a mix of courses. I mean, you go from a race like the Parker 425 that's got a little bit of mix of everything to the Mint 400 that's just ridiculously rough, to Silver State and Vegas to Reno that are, more rally roads. And then we go to, the October Blue Water Challenge where it's so rough, but you've got to push the car so hard. I mean, you as a driver, how do you have to adapt to each course?
Yeah, definitely. You have to really, it just comes with seat time and knowing the courses and knowing where to push and where you have to slow down. I really enjoy the roads, and I'm not scared to slide a car sideways around a road with a cliff on one side, and that's all. I've always loved doing that. So I seem to excel a little more on the roads and stuff, but our car, we've been working on it, trying to get it better in the rough, and it keeps getting better and better. We just have to keep making changes and going forward. I think I'm one of the few 1,500 cars left out there that doesn't run sway bars, and everybody says you can't make a buggy turn on the roads without sway bars, and we don't have any sway bars on our car, and it seemed to work okay at Silver State, so we'll probably stick with it for Vegas to Reno.
Yeah, well, obviously worked to get Silver State. You've taken a Vegas to Reno victory recently. Obviously you guys have that car dialed in where it works pretty darn good.
Yeah, it's working really well. I'm really happy with the car. Hopefully we'll have a new motor program for Vegas to Reno, so maybe that'll help me qualify a little better. We'll find out here in August.
Nice. Well, I got to ask you, you're a General Tire driver. Their hashtag anywhere is possible. So obviously, I know you got you're like me. You got General Tires on all your personal vehicles. Anywhere is possible. Where are your General Tires taking you?
Oh man, this is always a tough question. There's so many awesome places. I really would like to go to Arches National Park and cruise around out there. Hopefully sometime this summer I'll make it out there on my generals and go check it out.
Nice. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to call in, buddy, and you're more than welcome to call in anytime you want. Congrats on the win. I mean, that's huge. Class 1 victory for you, and or a Class 1500 victory, and here's hoping you can take another one in 1500 at Vegas to Reno.
Yeah, definitely. We're looking forward to it, and we're going to start preparing now and up until the day of the race to make sure we can compete the best that our team is capable of doing. So.
Yeah, well, I don't think a lot of people realize Vegas to Reno, what goes into that unless you've raced it. I mean, not only is it so long, but the elevation changes. I mean, and the weather conditions. I mean, we're 120 degrees in Vegas at Tech, and then you get up into the mountains at like 10,000 feet at times, and and what is there, Death Mountain, where we're driving and there's that cliff on the side, and I don't think people realize how crazy diverse that course is, the conditions and the terrain that we go on.
Yeah, most definitely. I probably shouldn't even say this on the air, but I will anyway. One of the things I think a lot of people neglect at Vegas to Reno is tire pressures. And, we start down south where it's really hot, and as you start moving north, everything cools down. And our tire pressures change quite drastically when they get up to temperature. So we kind of change our pressures as we're heading up north, doing our tire changes and whatnot. But it's definitely something to think about at that race.
Yeah, it's it's just the elevation changes, and your motor runs different, and it's just such a grueling race, for so many different reasons. So I think that victory you took a year or so ago is it's even sheds a little more light on how tough it actually is to walk away with a win. But appreciate you taking the time to call in. Anybody you want to thank before we let you go, buddy?
I just got to thank first my dad for all of his support, paying for everything, and you just can't thank General Tire again for everything that they do for our team. They're a great sponsor, and we're happy to have them back on board for this season. So we look forward to Vegas to Reno, and hopefully we'll come away with another win and bump us up in the points another step.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I appreciate you taking the time, CJ, and good luck at Vegas to Reno. We'll talk to you soon, my friend.
Thanks, Jim. Have a good day.
All right, you too, buddy.
Bye.
All right, that was General Tire driver CJ Hutchins talking about his big Best in the Desert win. Big Best in the Desert win at the Silver State 300 a couple of weeks ago, and not even a couple of weeks ago, I guess weekend before last, about a week ago. And man, he's a good dude, solid dude, and great ambassador for off road and General Tire, and good to see General Tire's on top of the box in Class 1500, third overall. Solid effort for CJ Hutchins, and it's Best of the Desert, man. Like we said, we got Vegas to Reno here in August, mid-August. That's the next one up for Best in the Desert, and it's a tough race. That's my next race in the number 15 trophy truck, but it's always a tough, grueling event there at Vegas to Reno. But a big shout out to CJ Hutchins for calling into the show today. Before we went to the break, we were talking with Jeff Seehorn, and wanted to talk a little Rally America real quick, and a little Dirtfish Rally report. But Rally America, a couple of big announcements. Obviously, entry list out for Olympus Rally. There's going to be a few more entries before the event. But running down the national entries, obviously Yeoman, Nick Roberts, Brenton Kelly's back, Lachlan O'Sullivan, George Plasek, Steve LaRosa. Another notable though, Romana Lagaman, who I'll definitely have to catch up with. He's taken a victory at OTR in two-wheel drive a couple years ago. He's in that gravel machine gun BMW, teaming up with Chrissy Beavis. That's going to be a solid effort there. Got Cameron Steely back, Peter Fatella, usual suspects, David Higgins, Miller, Gill, Jeff Seehorn stepping up to nationals, but looking down, the regional entry list, stack field regionals. Got to give a shout out to James Rimmer. He's going to be in that new Subaru BRZ Dirtfish machine. They're going to have that debut at Olympus Rally, so definitely looking forward to that as well. But we're going to have Rally America Radio at the Olympus Rally the 16th and the 17th. RallyAmericaRadio.com is where you can go to tune into that, and Rally America doing a solid effort, as well as our friends at iRally. But other Rally America news, Toyota RAV4 has been announced at Supercross for the two-wheel drive open class. It's going to be driven by Ryan Millen. Yeah, that Millen family in a Toyota nonetheless. But Ryan Millen going to be a two-wheel drive open class Toyota RAV4. Rally America's got the whole feature on the front page of their website. But this thing looks insane. Not running the full Rally America calendar. Going to run some Rally America events and then mix in some other events as well. But, it looks like another factory-backed two-wheel drive competitor in Rally here in the States. You gotta love it. And then some other big news, Olsberg announcing their finalized driver lineup for Supercar here in Red Bull GRC. Obviously, we knew Yoni Weeman was back in the Red Bull car for Olsberg's, but interesting change of pace. We thought Mitchell DeYoung was pegged for one of the Olsberg seats in Supercar. Looks like Mitchell DeYoung not pegged for one of the seats. It looks like they're going to bring in Sebastian Eriksson. We've actually had him on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, or maybe it was GRC Live Radio, a couple of years ago, but he's run around in Europe. He's run GRC Lights. Him and Mitchell DeYoung had some epic battles 2 years ago in the Lights cars here in the States. But it looks like Sebastian Eriksson, he's pegged for that second Red Bull GRC seat for Olsberg. So Mitchell DeYoung out, Sebastian Eriksson in. Haven't had a chance to catch up with Mitchell DeYoung. I'm sure he'll latch on at somebody's team. Just a great young talent and classy kid. I'm sure he's gonna get a seat somewhere. No idea what happened there, but Mitchell DeYoung out, Sebastian Eriksson in for Olsberg. So Olsberg going with the young guns again. Andreas, he likes to take these young drivers and groom them into champions, and we've seen it with Topi Heikkinen. We've seen it with Yoni Weeman. So obviously maybe he's got something up his sleeve with Sebastian Eriksson. So that is your finalized driver lineup for Olsberg's as we roll into Red Bull GRC Round 1 in Florida later this month. Hopefully we'll be able to catch up with Chris Leone with Red Bull GRC next week on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, and he'll help preview that series. So that's your Dirtfish Rally Report for this week. Rather short one, but not a lot of rally action happening over the weekend. That's all going to change this weekend with the Olympus Rally. So big Dirtfish Rally Report coming for next week. But I'm going to take a short break because when we come back, we are going to have Ami Houde. She's going to be calling in, and we are going to be talking some motocross, some supercross, and who knows what else with Miss Ami Houde. This is the Down and Dirty Radio Show powered by Polaris Razor. I'm Jim Beaver. If you got any questions for me or Amy, at JimBeaver15 on Twitter. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes after this break. Stay tuned.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When R.J. Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning Razor XP1000. RJ is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris Razors to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris Razors RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder R.J. Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris Razor vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Baja, check. King of the Hammers, check. Crandon, check. The Mint 400, check. Only one wheel company can say they have dominated the deserts and rocks of the Southwest to the mud and carnage of the big house at Crandon, and that company is KMC Wheels. KMC Wheels has won them all with the help of elite drivers like Travis Pastrana, Ricky Johnson, Bryce Menzies, Carl Renazetter, and Lauren Healy, who all rely on the XT Series from KMC Wheels to get them to the finish line and on top of the podium. Check out KMC Wheels and their full line of XT Series wheels at kmcwheels.com or on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KMC Wheels. KMC Wheels, like no other.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Come to the island and rip it up this summer. Wakeboard Island. It's a skate park on water at Blue Water Resort and Casino. Check out the 2-tower cable system that pulls you and your board over the water. No boats to watch out for. No fumes. Wakeboard Island is open to all skill levels with an open center section for beginners. And for trick riders, a double side kicker in a 60-foot flat box. Wakeboard Island. The best ride this side of the Rockies. Adjacent to the River's Edge Cantina at Blue Water Resort and Casino on the Colorado River in Parker, Arizona.
Looking to upgrade the brake system on your race car, pre-runner, or weekend toy? J-Mar Performance Brake Systems has you covered. An industry leader in performance braking systems, J-Mar can outfit your vehicle with the highest quality American-made calipers, rotors, master cylinders, hubs, turning brakes, and shifters for Volkswagens to trophy trucks and everything in between. For more information and their full product line, visit J-Mar on the web at jmarperformance.com or follow them on Instagram and Twitter at J-Mar Brakes.
Rigid Industries is the original and #1 LED light bar manufacturer in the world. Torture tested by some of the best drivers in motorsports. Rigid LED lighting products use cutting-edge technology and can stand up to the harshest conditions Mother Nature can dish out. Designed, engineered, and assembled in the United States, Rigid LED lighting is the only choice for your off-road vehicle or boat. Find out more information on the entire line of Rigid Industries LED lighting products at www.rigidindustries.com.
Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle, Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZ, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally.
Did you know that Parker Motor Company is one of the best places to shop for new tires for your car or truck? With a full tire shop and advanced equipment, we can outfit your vehicle with over 13 brands of tires, including Goodyear, BF Goodrich, Yokohama, Falcon, and General. We offer a low price guarantee that will meet or beat any competitor's price. We'll check your alignment for free, and we also offer tire care for any road hazards you may come across. If you need new tires, Parker Motor Company is your only choice. Parker Motor Company, your hometown Ford and Lincoln dealer.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'm your host, Jim Beaver.
And, man, rocking and rolling through this 2-hour show, we have had our Formula Drift post-event interview with Mr. Ryan Sage, Jeff Seehorn, Rally America competitor, and my General Tire teammate CJ Hutchins on air. We've nailed drifting, we've nailed rally, we've nailed desert racing. We're going to nail the two-wheel stuff here in just a minute with Ami Houde, but it's all action motorsports every Monday right here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show. And got to give a big shout-out to Polaris Razor for all the support, as well as General Tire and Rigid Industries, Dirtfish Rally School, and, Gibson Exhaust and MTX Audio, the official audio partner of the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Man, talk about a fun show, and, it's been a fun week for me, and as I get ready to travel up to Washington with my travel nightmares I've had so far. I've had 5 flights this year, and 4 of them have been delayed out of the 5. So we're optimistic. My travel plans will go good here in Washington, but at this point, I wouldn't hold my breath, man. If I was a gambling man, I would definitely have lost everything I've got so far this year. If I was gambling on my travel, because things just absolutely haven't worked out. That's for sure. I know R.J. Anderson, I was paying attention to him on social media, and he went from driving razors in Baja to I guess snowed in North Dakota. So go figure. He went from the beach to snowed in a matter of 24 hours, and he wasn't happy about it. So. Yeah, it seems like to me travel this year has been more bad than good for just about everybody. I don't know what's going on. Something in the water with the airline industry or what, but it seems like they're delaying more and more flights, and it's been kind of crazy. Everybody I talked to's had travel problems, flight delays, everything else. I know we'll have to ask Ami Houde when she calls in, because she travels about as much as I do, if not more, and we'll have to see if she's had any trouble traveling. It's been pretty bad for me. I think I'm almost ready to start renting a car and driving across country or something. It's literally been that bad. But speaking of good days, yesterday, Mother's Day, hopefully you moms that tune in, we've got a great mix of men and women that tune into the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Hopefully all you ladies had a phenomenal Mother's Day, and you future moms did as well. It's always a big day, and I start thinking about motorsports moms and things like that. And geez, I mean, you look at Lindsay Pastrana, and you look down the list. I mean, women in NASCAR. I mean, in the history of NASCAR, IndyCar. I mean, Sarah Fisher. Lots of and just in off road. I mean, geez, you ladies like Corey Weller, Day Gang. So it's definitely been a solid group of ladies, that are mothers, in the world of action motorsports. But calling in right now, we're going to skip over to my sidekick, Ami Houde. How's everything going, Ami? How was your Mother's Day? You doing anything with your mom?
It was awesome. I am not a mom, just to make some clarifications out there. But, no, I had an awesome day with my mom. I mean, me and my mom are best friends. She's, like, my go-to person for everything. She's really, really smart, really intelligent, and has kind of been, like, my rock in my career path and just trying to chase my dreams. She's always kind of been there to catch me if I fall. But, I mean, me and my mom hang out on a regular basis, so it's not, like, something new where it's like, pulling teeth, gotta go hang out with my mom. We had an awesome day. We got our nails painted, and we went for like a really nice dinner. And then we watched. I guess people have their soap operas and their gossip shows, but we have this show called Botched, and we just tape every episode, and I'm so addicted to it. It's about plastic surgeons fixing like botched surgeries. It's hilarious. And I mean, obviously they choose characters like with people with big personalities, but it's so good. It's really, really funny. So that's what we did. It was really nice, and had a great weekend. What? And then actually I went over to my grandma's too, so it was all generations, me, my mom, and my grandma hanging out on Saturday, so that was really nice. Nice.
Well, I got to ask you, obviously your dad, he's a dirt bike, rider to the core. So are you. Your mom, does she ever get on a bike?
Actually, it's funny. My parents met at the track because my mom's brothers used to race. So, I mean, I'm a moto kid from the get-go. I mean, my parents meeting at the track, love at first sight and everything. It was pretty funny. But I think my mom rode a little bit back in the day. We actually used to have a Mother's Day race and a Father's Day race back in the day here at the Manitoba Motocross Series. It was so funny because usually it falls on a Saturday or a Sunday on race weekend, and they would always have, like, moms and dads on Mother's Day or Father's Day who, like, don't know anything about racing go and do a lap on their kid's bike. It was so funny. And I actually think my mom did one year, rode on Mother's Day. But, no, she's just the good old classic moto mom, super valuable part of our, like, family routine. She gets all the, food ready and always has, like, a clean cloth to wipe everybody's face off after they come off. And, does laundry, gets everything ready. I mean, it's like a well-oiled machine. You need all parts, and my mom is definitely a huge part. And we kind of have that big, open, welcome family. Everybody comes and hangs out at our pits on the weekend. Everyone hangs out with, like, my family. It's pretty cool. So,
awesome.
Yeah, she's the best.
Well, I gotta ask you. I know, and you know how I jump around. I'm just all over the place, and whatever comes into my mind. There's no rhyme or reason to anything on this show. I was talking about travel before you called in. We go from Mother's Day to talking about travel, right? Go figure. But no, I've had like 5 flights this year, and 4 of them have been crappy and delayed, and snow and ice and everything else. How's your travel been this year? Because everybody I've talked to's had crummy travel in 2015. Has yours been good or bad?
I got to give it up to the guys at Motorcycle Superstore and First Form because they usually book all my traveling, and I have lucked out. For the first time in my life, I always said that I have some type of, like, travel polar vortex black hole death situation around me because I'm not kidding you. 2 years ago, almost for like a 2-year stretch, every one of my flight was delayed, and then you have to take in mind that I am flying internationally always from Canada to the U.S., the U.S.
From the
to
North
Canada.
Pole.
So I'm usually to the North Pole. Yeah. From the North Pole to the South Pole. So I'm always either on like 3 or 4 legged flights. I'm not kidding you. I take 4 flights just to get to like Orlando. It's ridiculous. Because obviously I am a girl on a budget, so I'm not going to be buying myself no first-class one-way ticket anywhere. Like, I'm doing the cheap seats, 4 legs, red eyes, whatever. But, if you have a missed flight or a delayed flight in your first leg, your whole flight day is screwed because you're going to miss every other leg of your flight. And that happened to me last year so many times. I've had to sleep over in the airport. I've had to have, like, showers in the bathroom in the sink. Like, it's been terrible. It was so funny, actually. I was going to the International Motorcycle Show, and for some reason I got a flight booked where I had to spend the night in Toronto Airport before I could fly out the next morning down to the States. And the airport closed, so it was completely shut down. And so there I am, like, wandering the airport, trying to find a dark corner to sleep. So I ended up, like, sleeping underneath these chairs. And I got woken up to this little man vacuuming around me at like 3 a.m. He didn't even like wake me. He just literally vacuumed around my feet and my legs and just kept on going. I honestly have had some good stories.
Well, I'm sure. Well, I got to ask you because you're a cute girl. You fly coach. Obviously, you're like me. We haven't hit the big time yet and get the.
I've never flied first class.
No, neither have I.
Ever.
And I've got enough frequent flyer miles
out there who wants to sponsor me. I mean, I'm so ready for first class, and I think first class is ready for me.
Yeah.
So bring it on.
Well, I don't know if first class is ready for you, but I think you're ready for first class. But no, who's the shadiest character you've ever had to sit next to back in coach?
Okay, well, I mean, the typical like do's and don'ts of flying is obviously you never want to get beside a baby or behind a baby, and you never want to get beside someone with poor hygiene. So one time, I mean, I should write a book about the people that I have met and sat and came across in the airport and on the plane. But so, okay, there's 2 very memorable stories. Actually, we'll make it 3. One's really quick. The first one was this man in one of those, like, old leather jackets that, just stinks like old leather. Well, throw in some cigarettes, like he literally ate an ashtray for breakfast this morning and decided to hop on his flight without brushing his teeth. And then he smelled a little bit like cat pee. So I'm not really too sure what was going on there, but
it was a leather jacket. It was soaked in it.
Unenjoyable situation.
Oh.
And the second one was just the other day. I was flying somewhere south for a race, and there was this, like, a family with 2 kids behind me. I have no problem with kids on flights. Like, I completely understand how hard it must be for, parents and their kids, like little kids. How can you sit still for that amount of time? But, I mean, parents, control your crazy children. This kid was standing on the seat and slapping my head over the back of the seat and, like, kept smacking me. And I would turn around, and the parents had, like, just didn't care at all, didn't say anything, and I was getting, like, really mad to the point I turned around. I'm like, you got to stop it. Like, your kids are hitting me. Stop. And the last one, when I was flying to Europe, really long flight, the guy beside me, like, fell asleep on my arm, and it was really awkward, and I didn't like it, and he was totally invading my space.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, 9 hours of a guy sleeping on your arm is probably not the best idea ever.
Yeah, well, you should have pickpocketed him or something.
Yeah, I've not lucked out and, found that really cute guy that I got to put aside a nice long-hour flight and talk about life and our similar interests in dirt biking. No, it just hasn't been that way. I've always had crying, screaming babies and guys that smell like cat pee and ashtrays.
Wow. Oh, I don't even know where to go with this, but I guess we're
You asked, so I told you.
Yeah.
I could add a book.
Yeah. We'll have to take a flight sometime together. It'll be fun. We'll make it interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway. Maybe we'll both upgrade to first class.
I fly alone. Like, I haven't flown with a lot of people before, so it's, like, even weird, like, to think that I'd have a company on planes, because I'm always solo. I travel alone all the time, so I like it. I like being a lone wolf.
Yeah. Well, you get some time to yourself and to think, and I guess you had somebody next to you, wouldn't be able to, catch up on your back TV episodes or whatever you've got loaded into your iPad or whatever you travel with, right?
I'm always editing videos. Flying is a video editing crunch time, so I always make sure my laptop is charged and I can crush a bunch of videos. So nice.
Well, that's one thing I've always liked. You literally do all your own video editing. You're on point, man. You're like me. You're a grinder. You make stuff happen.
It's funny because most people don't know that I do all my own stuff. Like, oh, cool. Who edits and films their videos? Like, I do. I got the GoPro and I just use iMovie and on my MacBook and make it happen. I mean, it's a hobby though too. At the same time, like, I really enjoy doing it. So it's not like it's work. Like, I can stay up till 3 a.m. editing something if I'm, like, really pumped on it, and I gotta, like, force myself to go to bed because I gotta get up early, and I just get all excited, and you're kind of creating art in a little masterpiece. It's really fun. I enjoy it. So.
Yeah. Well,
I just want to get better at it. I really want to update my technology and get a better camera, but I mean, I'd rather buy some oil or gas for my bike than go spend a couple grand on a nice camera. So
yeah, well, staying up till 3 a.m. I gotta say, and this has absolutely nothing to do with the show. I'm not, I watch TV, but I'm not like a huge TV guy. My wife hates me because I let the DVR fill up and I'll catch up with that stuff 6 months from now or something, right? So there's a show I found out we have HBO at our house, and I come to find out there's this thing called HBO Now where you get everything HBO ever had for free, right? And it's all streamed, right?
Oh, cool.
So I've got into this Game of Thrones. I've heard people talk about it for 5 years now.
Yeah.
I am telling you, I in the past 2 weeks have killed off 4 seasons worth of Game of Thrones. My wife's like, "Are you ever coming to bed?" I'm like, "No, I'm not." Seriously, 2-3 in the morning, I'm up watching Game of Thrones. Same thing last night. Sunday night I've got a show in the morning. You think I'd be to bed? Nope, we're watching Game of Thrones. I'm telling you, don't start that show. It's like crack.
Okay. I really don't want to let the secret out because it's like one of those secrets you take to the grave. and only your like immediate friends know this about you because the rest of the world would completely judge you. But I have a serious Netflix addiction, and it wasn't until I moved out on my own and bought my own house, and I don't have a TV. Well, I do. I have this big, beautiful 40-inch plasma TV, but I don't have cable, so it just sits there looking pretty in my living room, and I use like this shitty laptop that I have. And I started watching Netflix because I just kind of need like a little break between working out, and then at night, what am I supposed to do if I don't have anything going on? So I started watching. I was so against this when it first came out because like I'm ultimate tomboy, hate the girl crap, hate soap operas. I just like make fun of all those girls that totally got like hooked into this. But I crushed out Gossip Girl and the new generation of 90210. I'm not kidding you. What? 6 seasons, 1,000 episodes in probably a month. And it was a serious addiction, and all my friends thought I had a major problem. And yeah, honestly, the day that both of those shows ended, I might have teared up a little bit. Like, that's how serious this problem was. And I like feel so bad because it's so ridiculous to say that I was addicted to Gossip Girl when over here I'm riding dirt bikes and, you know, totally against all that girly stuff. But you know what? Netflix is a serious addiction, and they really do need a 10-step program to get over that because it's ruining lives.
Oh, I know. Like, I was addicted to Netflix for a while, and I went through, like, I love, like, cheesy horror movies and sci-fi, and I went through, like, I'm to the point where there's no crappy horror movies left on Netflix I haven't seen, and it's got to be like...
That's
me.
Yeah. Try having Canadian Netflix. It's different. We don't get any of the new, like, updated stuff that you guys get. When I lived in the States for a bit, I had American Netflix, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like, all the new stuff, new shows. I mean, the Canadian stuff, we're still, like, working on 2013 movies.
I wonder if we swap passwords.
A lot of new stuff.
I wonder if we swap passwords, like, really if it'll work. Seriously, I wonder.
No, it's because it has to do with the IPA address. Because I'm in Canada here. There's a way of switching your IPA so it makes it seem like you're in an American area, but I haven't figured that out yet. Yeah. And I probably shouldn't.
I was going to say, I'll give you my login info, and you give me yours, and then it'll give me some new Canadian crap to watch, and you can watch the American stuff.
I can't.
Yeah, suck. Well, I guess at some point you and I are supposed to talk about motocross. I don't know what we've talked about in the past 15 minutes.
I know,
but,
I mean, Netflix, totally, totally right up there.
Yeah.
But, I mean...
This is us, though. We get on the phone and we talk about randomness. So, yeah. Anyways, motocross happening here in this weekend, I guess, Hangtown. What do we got to expect here? I know you told me you'd studied up. So, what were you studying, Amy?
Well, I mean, I wasn't studying too much about Hangtown. I was kind of more interested in the MXGPs this weekend because things are getting a little bit serious over there now. I mean, the racing is heating up. And, there's been a huge shakeup in points. Villapoto didn't race this weekend. He broke his tailbone last weekend, actually. So, I mean, he's out for a while. He's hoping to come back next week. But, that's a huge loss for the U.S. and the States trying to, their only guy out there trying to make it happen. And he had to take a race off. So, we can get back to MXGPs a little bit. I mean, the only thing that I know right now that I touched base with Dean Wilson, he still has about 8 to 10 weeks of recovery time. I thought hopefully he had that opportunity to line up at the first round, but he's got a few months left of recovery, so we won't be seeing Dean line up anytime soon for outdoors. And then Cooper Webb, I mean, my little buddy there, who I'm hoping for the best in all aspects. I haven't seen him practicing at all this week. I haven't heard anything that he's been back on the bike. I know he suffered an ankle injury last weekend in Vegas. Maybe it's a little bit more serious than we know. Maybe there's a fracture or something worse, but I haven't heard anything about him yet. So, I mean, we only got a couple of days away. It's crazy how quick between Supercross and outdoors it is. It's only 2 weeks, and it seems like it's just bang, right back into it. Like, I almost need a little bit of a break, and I'm just a spectator. Never mind the racers.
Yeah, it's Well, I know, I was talking to, who was I talking with at one point? Or somebody, maybe I was listening to my guys at Whole Shot Radio, and they've got, their radio show, and they're all Supercross and motocross is all they talk about, But somebody was saying they would love for Supercross and outdoors to merge, have one big series, have like 25 rounds, and and take the best motocross, the best Supercross venues, make one big series, have it intermixed. And that way, certain times during the year, guys may get a week or 2 week break. You know what I mean? But make a 25 round national championship, Supercross and motocross all combined.
No, it will never work that way. You mean like having Supercross and like motocross mixed between one weekend is a Supercross and one weekend is a motocross?
No, just one championship and motocross, Supercross, all the points the same. You got to win outdoors, and you got to be good at the outdoors and at Supercross. You know what I mean? To win the national champion or to win the championship. You know what I mean? Everything's all in one.
I don't like that because you have someone who has bad luck. Okay, shows up at the first round of Supercross, breaks their wrist. Okay, so they're out for the first round of Supercross. No big deal. They can still hold on to their contract with their teams and their sponsors in the brands and say, hey, I'm going to line up for the first round of outdoors. So, if you get hurt and you're out for this big, a long period of time, your whole season, your whole year is screwed. So instead of having two different, seasons and two different, basically, I guess, races and events, Supercross versus outdoors, you still have the opportunity to, win a championship in outdoors if you have bad luck in Supercross. And, that's really important. And then scratch all that stuff out. How the heck do you think a privateer could ever afford to do that? A privateer has a hard enough time getting the funds and the sponsorship together to race, half of the outdoor series. You got to go coast to coast just doing outdoors. And it would be such a whole different story if you got to do the whole program. That could cost a fortune. And it would just be really implausible for young guns and, privateers to be able to ever afford something like that. So, I don't think that would ever come to the day where there's something like that out there. Too expensive, not feasible, and not really ideal for people who get injuries. What do you think?
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you. I don't think it'll ever happen. I think that, their point was, I guess a lot of these, big name riders and teams and stuff like that, when they approach sponsorship, they have to do two different contracts. So one is for Supercross and one is for outdoors. So it's separate pitches. And they're like, if we had one big combined series, we could do one pitch and know we're funded for both series. So, like, some teams will get funded for Supercross, but they can't get funding for motocross, and they're having a tough time. Yeah. So I think that was their thing. If we had one big combined, we can just do one pitch and know we're going to be running both. But I agree with you. Well, and there's guys that are tailor-made for outdoors and guys that are tailor-made for Supercross.
There's people who, could get a slamming Supercross contract and, doesn't even want to dip their fingers into motocross because they just know that's not their thing. So they focus on Supercross or they focus on outdoors. And, it is two very different sports. And we have to look at it at two different sports, not two different series. How you train and adjust to Supercross is very different to outdoors. So it's two different, completely different worlds. So, I hope whoever thought of that really wasn't thinking in the racer aspect. So, I think it's way too hard on a rider and on teams, and too, I think it's teams as well. Just that'd be crazy. Yeah. That'd be a long, drawn-out series that I wouldn't want to be a part of.
Yeah. Well, I start thinking, and I look at NASCAR, which I hate. Everybody that tunes in here knows that. But it's so long. It's like 40-something races long, and it's all year, and it's like, seriously, another race, and it's like, it's like they...
Oh, my God, and you just go and you turn left. Ooh, so fun.
Yeah, but it's like, by the end of the year, they're beating a dead horse, It's like, can this thing just... be done already? And and I've got some hardcore NASCAR fans that listen to this show too. I apologize to you guys.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah.
I just in the dirt bike world, so I hit jumps and turn left and right.
Yeah, exactly. So what's up for you? What's up for you coming up?
So I have my first race finally next weekend in Minnesota. in Brooks, Minnesota. I mean, there's some people who like to practice, and there's some people who like to race, and some people who hate racing and love to practice. I mean, I'm in the middle with practicing. I'm learning to like it a little bit more now that I don't pressure myself as much. I've really learned to enjoy racing a lot more. Practicing and riding a lot more. I was very, very competitive when I was younger, so I would kind of kill it. I would not see the fun and enjoy it at all, so I hated practicing. But I'm definitely more of a racer. I like going in competing. I like going and beating people and testing my abilities and pushing my limits, and I always ride at my max capacity when I am racing. So I'm really excited to head out there. And then the following weekend is my first race here in Manitoba. It's going to be really good. I can't wait. It's actually at a different track than we normally have the first race of the year. My favorite track, Minnedosa. Really, really cool. Some really nice natural terrain and like black mud. Like it is some black, hardy soil, thick, deep ruts. I can't wait to start racing. So I guess I'll have to keep you guys posted, and we can have a Monday recap and let you know how I do. I'll be racing in B class down in the States, and I'm hoping to finish top 3. So got to put it all together, crush out some cardio this week, and I'll be ready to ride.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely keep me in the loop. Let me know how things go. I'm loving the new graphics on the bike. Look absolutely amazing.
Oh, yeah.
So you got to be pumped. New graphics, new bike, new suspension. You should be dialed for 2015, right?
Yeah, but I've already burnt a clutch, okay? I mean, I've ridden my bike 4 times, and I've burnt a clutch already. I'm so hard on my clutches, and I don't have a clutch sponsorship. So I got a couple numbers to call from Recluse. I used to ride with Recluse years ago. I was sponsored by them, but I really got to hit it up again because this is a serious situation. My dad always puts like 450 plates and springs in my clutch because I burn those things out like so fast. I don't know why. Like it's a safety net. I ride with my clutch. It's a bad habit that I've been trying to kick, but I just can't. Like it's how I ride, and so I just gotta get a clutch sponsor who can help me out because. You know how expensive the clutch are? Like, it's becoming a really expensive addiction problem.
Yeah, for sure. So, hey, I know we had talked, and I kind of forgot about it, and then I was thinking about the show today, and I was like, we probably ought to mention this, and you and I need to get our stuff together. But we talked about doing like a segment, Top 10 Vehicles of the Zombie Apocalypse, right?
And, we did.
Yeah.
We never got back to that.
No, I think we need to do that. You and I need to get together and do it. So, listeners, if you got any ideas, Amy and I are going to put together top 10 vehicles of the zombie apocalypse. Can be 2-wheeled and 4-wheeled vehicles. Have to be a vehicle actually made, so don't come with some Mad Max bull crap. It's got to be an actual vehicle in production, 2- or 4-wheel. But top 10 vehicles of zombie apocalypse. We want to know what you guys' suggestions are. Her and I are going to put together 5 apiece, and some week we'll come back at them with our picks.
Sounds good to me.
So awesome. Well, you have a good week, Amy, and we'll definitely talk with you soon.
Yeah, sounds good, and have a good week as well, and wish me luck racing.
All right. Well, good luck this weekend. I'm sure I'll talk to you before then, but yeah, definitely. Lay down some. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. Just go out and kill it, right?
Okay, have a good one.
All right, thanks, Amy.
Bye.
Bye. All right, that was Ami Houde, my weekly on-air kind of co-host that wraps up the show. And we were supposed to talk some motocross today, but we're kind of in that downtime between Supercross and motocross, and her and I get together talking on air, and conversation goes every which direction. But good people. So it sounds like she's getting ready to kick off her 2015 outdoor motocross season. She's running Canadian Nationals, and then. And then she's got some stuff going here in the States as well. But upcoming events, we got Motocross Hangtown kicking off this weekend. Also, Torque Series in action. Rally America in Olympus, that coming up. That's a big event, ex-WRC round. So Olympus Rally, always a big one. Great to see that back on the Rally America schedule. We got World Rallycross from Belgium. And then on the UTV side, we got Rally on the Rocks going down. So we got a lot of stuff to cover next week on air. Got to give a big shout-out shout-out to all our partners, Polaris Razor, General Tire, Rigid Industries, Dirtfish Rally School, UPR.com, Blue Water Resort and Casino, Wakeboard Island, Jmar Performance Brakes, KMC Wheels like no other, Parker Motor Company, Gibson Exhaust, MTX Audio, the official audio partner of the Down and Dirty Radio Show, and Intense Tees. Big shout-out to Jeff Seehorn, Ami Houde, Ryan Sage, and the boys at Formula Drift, and my General Tire teammate CJ Hutchins for calling in today. And thanks to all you for listening. Give me a follow at JimBeaver15 on Instagram and Twitter, or Facebook.com/DownAndDirtyShow. Also, I'm doing a lot of stuff on Periscope. I'm at JimBeaver15 on Periscope as well. You can skip over there. Be sure to download our app, available on Apple, iTunes, Google Play, and the Amazon Kindle store. It's available. It's available right now. We're getting ready to do a big update, drop an update though, and you'll be able to live stream with that update. So I know the one right now, it's just archived episodes. So with that new one, you will be able to live stream. So definitely looking forward to getting that out for you guys. But download the current app, and then you'll get an update as soon as that new one drops. But been a fun show today, man. Talking a little drifting, a little off-road, a little rally, a little two-wheel action. And, as always, if you've got any guest suggestions, anybody you'd like to hear on air, be sure and hit me up at JimBeaver15 on Twitter. Let me know those suggestions, or shoot me an email through the contact form at downanddirtyshow.com. As always, the show is about you, the fans, so thanks for listening in, and we will keep pumping out some action motorsports radio here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Thanks for staying tuned, and we'll be back next week on a Tuesday with more Down and Dirty Radio Show. As always, game on.